Computex 2025 brought to you by Woodware's Woodbook 416 Fire. Built for smooth gameplay and razor-sharp detail, featuring AMD's Ryzen 9 CPU, NVIDIA's GeForce RTX 5070 Ti, and a 300Hz IPS display. When I arrived at XPG's booth this past Computex, the first thing I saw there were the 980 series or Gen 5 SSDs. So these 980 drives are using apparently the latest 6nm silicon motion controller, delivering up to 14 GB a second in sequential reads and 13 GB a second in writes, of course. The three models on show were differing in the coolings used, where the premium store model uses a self-contained hybrid liquid air cooling solution. These models are actually available from Woodware as we speak. DRAM side, XPG had on show their colorful Lancer Neon RGB memory on display, as well as their record-setting regular, if you will, Lancer RGB memory that was actually recently used in a joint venture with Gigabyte's Z890 Tachyon motherboard. Of particular interest to me was the Project Infinity memory. While I didn't get to ask too much about this memory, the reflective heatsinks look amazing, and the DRAM in general has a look to it that I think is the best I've seen from XPG to date. We then moved on to some parts that haven't made their way to SA yet, and those are the cases, the coolers, and PSUs for the most part. An unfortunate situation given just how amazing some of these look, and hopefully something that could be rectified in the near future. The biggest change for the AIOs that XPG had on display was actually on the block, which are now featuring displays which we've seen on many other vendors of late. It wasn't just AIOs, however. XPG also had air coolers, one of which also carried a display with it, like many of the high-end models these days. As for the cases, there were some genuine surprises here. The XPG Starfighter was one such example, a magnetic panel case which manages to fit even the largest GPUs on the market, and a full-size ATX motherboard if I'm not mistaken, in what would otherwise be a micro ATX chassis in size. To the left of the Starfighter, there was a brand new chassis from XPG as well, which I think is their most premium case to date, at least in its size. It has a fairly interesting design, the biggest highlight for me being the placement of the PSU in the top front right of the chassis. It's a novel design and one of the chassis I hope will make it out to our shores soon enough. Finally, there was a custom chassis as well, which was modified by a case modder for the show. Nothing too crazy here, but an exquisite design nonetheless. If possible, this should be turned into an actual commercial product because I really think it looks incredible. As for the rest of the products on the show, XPG and AData had the usual slew of external drives and SDXC cards of the highest standards and speeds available today. This included a brand new range of external SSDs and SDXC cards, all delivering 1 GB a second in reads and writes for high-speed storage on the go, be it for cameras, mobile devices, the Switch 2 in particular, or for backup storage via USB 4 on your PC. Overall, XPG had a decent showing, especially where DRAM is concerned. The standout for me, again, being Project Infinity DRAM, closely followed by the new premium chassis that I spoke about earlier. There was no update on the handheld we saw last year, but hopefully that is still something that's going to come out at some point. Regardless, that pretty much wrapped up my time that I had spent at XPG's booth at this year's Computex 2025.